Now, striking teacher trainees in the country have suspended their one-week strike. The trainees embarked on a nationwide strike over government's decision to scrap trainee allowances. Let's get some more on this. Patrick Kakarientry is National PRO for the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana. He joins me now over the telephone. So, Mr. Entry, good morning. Thanks for joining us on News Desk. If I may ask, what prompted your association to now call off the strike?
Good morning once again. I must send greetings to the entire teacher trainees, also in the nation. What prompted for this temporary? We have not suspended it. I might set it on record that it is temporarily suspended, and the reason is that indication and calls that we, the leadership, have had so far in this period for our indefinite suspension calls for a suspension. One, the Ministry of Education, and for that matter, the government, responded positively to meet the leadership of TTAG. Then two, the National Council for Teacher Education, that is NCTE, in a different development, have made a resounding move to organize a meeting with the featuring TAG also as well. The teaching associations that we have, that is NAGRA and TCT, they have also shown consent to be part of the negotiation. And for that matter, having seen all this movement, we are of the view as an association, by the law that we know, that is the Labor Law Act, we cannot be in the negotiation term and at the same time being on strike. And for that matter, we have to suspend it because we don't know what will come out from the negotiation.
So, Mr. Entry, let me find out something. So, you're saying that government has gotten in touch with you and government is willing to address your concerns by having a dialogue with you. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that is what I am talking of now. That they have expressed consent to sit with us so that we can address issues appropriately.
What is government proposing now? Is it any different from what they've been saying this whole time?
For now, you see, for now, the difference is that previously attention was not given, not even to be called. Do you get it? At first, we would send the proposal, they don't get time for us, they don't respond to us. That was worrying us. That was our worry. But here is the case now, they have given the indication and they have themselves to be meeting us.
But we did hear the Deputy Minister for Education in charge of tertiary, Okujeto Ablakwa, call your bluff and say, you know what, government was not going to be bullied or cowed into restoring your allowances. What makes you think anything is going to change now? The government has made it clear they are not going to bring back your allowances. Is it that you didn't have a choice so you had to go back to class? Is that not the obvious thing?
Not that we don't have a choice. Our decision, if this information should have not been, should have not come, we wouldn't have go back to the classroom. We are of the view that the negotiation that we're going to negotiate, it is clear that we are also having a fact, and definitely they're going to understand. At first, they were not getting us, they were not getting our attention. But now that we are going to sit with the leadership in connection with the other teacher union groups that we have, that is the NAS, we are of the view that this time around they're going to see the reality and the reinstatement of these allowances. As we speak, though they cleared the allowances, but the nurses have started taking theirs. So we have a point to also share our views with them that now we are also demanding for allowances.
So now what you're saying is that it's not just going to be you dealing with the government. It's going to be yourself, that's TTAG, Ghana National Association of Teachers, and NAGRAT as well, in a more or less a stakeholder meeting. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that is what I'm trying to say. This time, this meeting is going to be in connection with the NCTE and the other unions that you mentioned, in collaboration with the TTAG.
Okay. And how soon are we to see this meeting come to fruition?
As we speak now, we are hopeful that the close of this week, we're going to have the meeting because today is a holiday. The appointment was booked to meet them so that the invitation or the sex date would be to be given. As I speak now, we have some people who are around that which tomorrow by 9, they will be around the ministries to get the set date and the time and the venue where we'll be meeting.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Patrick Kakarientry is the National Public Relations Officer of the Teacher Trainees Association of Ghana. Now, former rector of GIMPA, Professor Stephen Ade, has reignited the age-old debate of who should manage mission schools. He argues the churches should run their schools since government's takeover of these schools has accounted for the widespread corruption in the country. He made these remarks at a lecture on the impact of Christianity in Ghana's development at the College of Physicians and Surgeons here in Accra.
The church in Ghana has over the years played an active role in the development of the country. The Presbyterian, Anglican, Methodist and Catholic churches have established basic and second cycle schools across the country, which complement government's effort to provide education to Ghanaians. But the churches no longer have administrative authority over these schools. There has been a long-ranging debate where churches have consistently demanded the schools be returned to them, but government has hesitated, citing financial and other concerns. Professor Stephen Adai, however, says government's takeover of the schools has led to a drop in moral standards.
In our time, going to a Presbyterian school means you are disciplined, honest, hardworking. And these were not negotiable. At this moment, the schools, all of them, even when they say it's a Presbyterian school, the head teacher has nothing Christian in him, Latin. So this type of moral education has been lost. And that is what over years we are reaping. People, I teach in the university, and thank God a place like Ashasi University is an exception. But in most universities, the ordinary student doesn't have no qualms about teaching to get a grade and pass. And just because the foundations at the primary and middle school, the junior secondary school, which were solidly Christian, has generally been eroded by the government taking over and almost excluding the churches from the day-to-day management.
Professor Adai also dismissed suggestions the clergy must be exempt from politics. He described as devilish arguments that the clergy's job is only to preach the gospel and not to dabble in politics.
It comes from the devil for somebody to say that go and just tell people to be born again. But don't tell us when we are stealing that we shouldn't steal. When we are money which are meant for the people should not be stacked overseas and other things. It is only the devil speaking through them. Always the church has a prophetic voice. The church itself must tell its members to excuse certain practices and must hold those who govern us accountable for good governance and morality. And nobody should allow any politician to say, separate the church from governance. The church members, where do they live? Do they live in heaven? They live on earth. They contribute their taxes. And if they are 70% of the population, they are contributing about the same. So I don't think that is right. And I personally, as a Christian, will challenge every politician who says that he has no business to lead our country.
Professor Adai also charged Christians not to be afraid to vie for political office or vote for other Christians who come up for elections. This, he argues, will help redirect the nation onto a godly path.
You're watching News Desk here on Joy News, taking a quick break. We'll be back shortly with some more. Stay with us.